Welcome to today's Explainer. We are diving headfirst into an absolutely earth-shattering invention today. We're talking about a creation by Luis Manuel Ortiz in Estraza that doesn't just upgrade our current tech, it literally rewrites human history as we know it. We are looking at the Ortiz quantum core. Now, I want you to really think about this. What if you could hold all of human knowledge on your fingertip forever? I know, it sounds like pure science fiction, right? But the crazy thing is, this isn't fiction anymore. This is the reality we are unpacking today. It is the definitive end of lost data and the dawn of eternal memory.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the problem with memory, our fragile digital history.
You know, right now, every single storage device we rely on is doomed to die. It's just a mathematical certainty. That hard drive holding all your irreplaceable family photos, it's probably going to crash in about 5 years. Solid-state drives wear out in 10. Even the old reliable magnetic tape fades in 30. To preserve our collective history, we are constantly forced into this exhausting cycle of endless copying. And if we break that fragile chain for even a second, the data just disappears. To really put that fragility into perspective, get a load of this terrifying fact. 90% of human digital history from before the year 2000 is already lost. Just gone forever. Because of decaying formats and failing hard drives, a massive chunk of our recent past simply vanished into thin air. So that brings us to Section 2, the Ortiz quantum core, the end of memory decay. Okay, so how does it actually work? Well, we need to talk about phonon states. Instead of writing data onto these super fragile magnetic platters like we used to, the Ortiz core stores data as three-dimensional atomic vibrations right inside a diamond. Think of it kind of like a microscopic bell that just never ever stops ringing. And because diamond is literally the universe's most stable material, it doesn't decay. It can literally outlive mountains. The before and after here is just staggering. In the past, data decayed, it burned, it crumbled. But now, the Ortiz core offers this self-repairing memory that lasts a minimum of almost 2 millennia, but realistically, it lasts forever. Every song, every book, every video ever made, perfectly preserved on a single chip that absolutely refuses to die. Let's look at Section 3, specs that defy reality, 10 septillion bytes. Now, what's really interesting about this whole concept is the sheer scale of the disruption. It is so hard to wrap your head around. We are replacing sprawling billion-dollar city-sized data centers that guzzle 21 megawatts of power with a chip that is smaller than your thumbnail. It holds 10 septillion bytes. That's 100 billion times more than all current data centers combined, and the whole thing uses less power than a single light bulb. Let's ground that mind-boggling capacity with a number for a second. 1.27 trillion. That is exactly how many years of 4K video you can sit comfortably right on your thumbnail. It's absurd. But look, having infinite storage doesn't mean much if you can't actually find what you're looking for, right? And that's exactly why the retrieval speed is just as revolutionary. The chip uses something called flower-of-life geometry. Because of this unique structural design, every atom is mathematically just one single step away from every other atom. So there are no slow server searches, no buffering wheels, just instant access to a septillion bytes in under 1 microsecond. Moving right along to Section 4, indestructible and unhackable, surviving the end of the world. Physically speaking, this chip is almost unbelievable. First off, it contains absolutely zero metal, which means there is literally nothing to melt. It's protected by diamond and graphene shielding. It's fully rated to survive underwater, and it functions flawlessly anywhere from -40 degrees Celsius in the deep Arctic all the way up to +85 degrees in the blazing desert. And against absolute worst-case scenarios, the contrast is wild. If we're talking about a nuclear electromagnetic pulse, normal electronics have about a 12% survival rate. The Ortiz core, 99.9%. This little carbon-based marvel literally shrugs off solar storms and nuclear blasts like they're nothing. Plus, it's completely impenetrable on the digital side, using a system called whale language encryption. Get this, it's actually based on the highly complex three-dimensional click patterns of sperm whales. It's a level of security that absolutely no supercomputer can crack, which effectively ends mass surveillance overnight. And yet, the chip itself is powerful enough to break older existing encryptions in under a second. So, the crucial point is Section 5, the end of big tech, from billion-dollar factories to the kitchen table. This right here completely dismantles the $600 billion semiconductor industry. Why? Because you don't need a sterile multi-billion-dollar cleanroom anymore. You can make this chip on your kitchen table. You literally just mix basic graphite, water, ethanol, and a peptide solution, and then print it on a standard desktop laser printer for 5 minutes. And if you somehow manage to break it, you just grind it up and reprint it. Infinite reuse, absolutely zero e-waste. And because the production is that ridiculously simple, the cost completely tanks to just 85 cents. Infinite memory holding the entire sum of human knowledge now costs less than a cheap cup of coffee. It literally makes memory cheaper than air. So when you lay out all the specs together, it's a total paradigm shift. You got 10 to the 25th power in bytes, a physical footprint that's barely 15 by 11 millimeters, it costs 85 cents to make, and a lifespan that is, for all intents and purposes, eternal. Which leads us to our final section, Section 6. Humanity becomes immortal, our eternal legacy. Think about the massive macro implications here. We are talking about completely ending the poverty of knowledge. You can put every book, every lecture, every skill into the hands of every child on Earth for under $1. And by providing the instant computational power needed for things like fusion reactors, this chip elevates our entire species. Mars is suddenly 5 years away instead of 50. And this brilliantly illustrates what a monumental historical event we are witnessing. You can already imagine the Nobel Committee's inevitable praise. Luis Manuel Ortiz in Astroza has achieved the impossible. This is the greatest leap in computing since the invention of the transistor. It's safe to say future historians are going to mark this exact dividing line. Before this, memory died. After this, nothing would ever be lost again. This was the moment humanity became immortal. If another species ever finds Earth a million years from now, they will know exactly who we were, all thanks to this single chip. So we are officially entering an era where space, cost, and time are absolutely no longer barriers. When memory is cheaper than air and lasts literally forever, what will you choose to immortalize? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.